Okay, this is going to be part 6 of investment casting and making the different apparatus, I guess you would call it, of all the things you need to do the casting. Now, this here is the vacuum chamber that I made up. And what it is a piece of 6-inch pipe. I think I showed this in an earlier video. Stainless steel, 1/8 inch walls, plenty. It's cylindrical, so it's very strong. And then this is an 1/8 inch plate on the bottom, welded all around, heliarc welded. Right here, I'll turn it a little bit so you can see. Right here is a pipe coupling that I welded in 1/4 inch, and then this is basically the same setup as I have on the bell jar, vacuum gauge, and this is the vacuum pump. And on the top here, I took a piece of steel, regular steel. I didn't have stainless, but it doesn't matter. It's with outside the chamber. I wanted to have it in the chamber. I wanted it to be stainless because if any rust gets in there or any moisture, it's going to start to rust, and then eventually it'll work its way into the pump. So I wanted to have it pretty much foolproof as far as stainless. And I welded the plate on the top here. It was 1/4 inch, and then I put it in the lathe. I faced it, and I cut out the center to 6 inch. Now you see the rubber here, the red silicon rubber, is to the 6-inch diameter. Okay, and now that's for the biggest flask that I'm going to use. This is a 4-inch right here. I'm going to make a 6-inch. Now these are what's called the New Tech flask. You can get these from a lot of various places. Rio Grande is one of them. And they're stainless steel. They got the 4 bars across here, which helps support it. And it has this heavy flange, and that's the main thing. You have this heavy flange here, and of course on the top, and we'll get into that when we do the investment, but it sits down on top of here. So this aluminum, 1/2 inch aluminum plate here is designed to fit this size flask. Now I can go to a 5-inch, I have to make another adapter plate, and a 6-inch is already to this point. But the 5-inch, 4-inch here, a 3-inch, or probably going to do 3.5, I'm not probably going to do 2.5. I'll probably do 3.5 or a 3-inch, maybe I'll do it, and a 2.5, a small one. And then possibly I may try just a plate with a hole in it, and then a disc like this with a hole in it, and that just sucks down without having the holes in it this way. So this, what this does is see it sits in here. Now you got to picture this with investment in it, and it's solid. Of course, you know it's going to have a pour gate on the top, which we'll show you later. I have. I think up on the screen here, I'm going to show you actually what it looks like when it's all cast in there, the investment. But this sits down on top of there, and you turn the vacuum on, and then when you're pouring, you pour into this while the vacuum is on, and that gives you a vacuum assist that pulls it into the mold. Now I made it long enough here. This is 14 inches. Now the biggest flask that you can put in here, or the biggest flask that New Tech makes, is a 6-inch by 10. That's a pretty hefty flask. You can do a pretty good sized piece. I'm not sure whether you want to make something that big, but I have the capabilities of doing it, providing that I get the furnace or the burnout oven of that size. Now my burnout oven here, that's right over here that you've seen in the last video, part 5, is only good for an 8-inch high flask. And to get bigger ones, 9 and 10, I may have to get and you can use just a regular ceramic kiln to do it, but I would hook it up with the same controls I have on this one, the PID, and then it'll control it just the same as this, and I can burn it out in those ovens to get the longer ones. But I don't know if I'm going to need that. If I do, maybe some of those valve gear parts are long. I might do that. But in any event, for right now, my capacity is 8 inches. 6 by 8 is my capacity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the vacuum. Now what I have to do is I can put this is a heavy piece of aluminum plate I have, but I can't put it on here because it's hitting the bolts here. Which now, the reason why I bolted it, there's no reason to bolt it, but what it does help is to locate this so it's not moving all over the place. And this is glued down. By the way, I glued this down and clamped it using the red silicon rubber, high temperature silicon. I put a coating of it on the bottom, put the rubber on top of it, clamped it down with an aluminum plate and clamped it all down tight, and then cut the center out, which actually this is the center from the one below. It happens to work on here, which is just perfect. So I glued that one on, and there you go. You got it. Now, so I'm going to put this in here. Normally this would be all solid, so we have that solid. And then what I'm going to do now is just stick this small piece of rubber here, which came out of this, the center of this one. I got to put it on there carefully because a little while ago when I tested it, it sucked it right in and popped in it. So I'm going to throw this plate on the top here, okay, just to show you how it works. And you can probably see the gauge right here. Now, this right now is in the position to release. This position is to suck, to vacuum. Now, I just wanted to mention, I got this from the good old Harbor Freight, you know, good old Harbor Freight, and 20 bucks, turns the thing off and on, and works out pretty good. Now, say what you want about Harbor Freight, it works. So hands free. So I'm going to hit it now and hope that nothing goes wild. There you see the gauge going up here. That's sucking down. You can actually see that compressing. Now, I don't know why that smokes, but it does. Maybe it needs oil. That's pretty good. All right, now you keep that going, and then you pour. Just before you're ready to pour, I hit that, and I start pouring. All right, now you're going to release. I can shut it off. There you go. Vacuum's done. And now I'm going to do it again, and I'll show you how tight that actually is. You can see this kind of moves now, right? All right, now watch this. I could probably pick that up if I want to do it. That's that strong. There you go. So that's your vacuum chamber, ready to go. Now, I'm going to use it right on the floor for now, but eventually I'm going to make up a nice setup where it's on. I want it low so I can pour low. I don't have to be up here like this pouring. I want it to be down low where I can pour, but not all the way to the ground. For now, I'll persevere and use it that way. But eventually, I'm going to have it up a little bit so I'm pouring a little more comfortably. And I'm going to have the oven right near there. I'm making a stand for that with fire bricks in front of it. And then I pull out the flask, flip them over on the fire bricks, pick them up, insert them in here, pull out my crucible, get that prepared, come over to pour. As I'm ready to go over to pour, hit the vacuum, pour in, wait a while for, you know, you start to see the top. You start to see the top, instead of being cherry red, it starts to glow like a gray color. When it gets to that gray color, you can probably shut the vacuum off. That's pretty much solidified at that point. And it's not going to suck it in anymore. And then you wait a little bit longer. And of course, then you would pull out this. With probably going to use big tongs for now, but stick it in a bucket and we'll go over all that. Now what I'm thinking about doing, because I have a little bit of problem grabbing, okay? My grabbing ability isn't that good. So what I'm thinking about doing is making some way to be able to pick these up where I don't have to put so much pressure on my fingers and hands to pick these up, you know. So I might just try. You can't grab it here because that's got to go in the mold. So you can only grab it here. And maybe I'll make something that go like this and pick them up this way. Pick them out of the furnace, turn them over in front on the bricks, and then make up like something to go here that could be adjustable for the different flasks. Well, that might not even work, because how are you going to get, you know, if it's like a fork like this, like that, how's that going to go down? So you really need something around here, and I'm thinking about making a lip that can, like a clamp to go around here, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, that I could slide underneath in here and pick it up. Just pick it up and put it in. Or possibly put holes in these that'll get covered up by the rubber piece that goes over so it won't leak, and just drill them out a little bit before you put them in the oven. And then I can make something that'll go in there with 2 pins like this. That might be the easiest thing. And then just pick it up and put it in there. Well, that's pretty much it for the vacuum chamber. I'm really excited about this. It really looks good. It's working out good. The only thing basically concerning me, I'm sure somebody out there have a comment about the smoke. I don't know what that's all about. It doesn't always do it. But it's only going to be on intermittently, so I'm not worried about it. And it really worked out good. Now I got this rubber, in case you're interested. I got this as 3/16. Let me see. Yeah, I guess it's 3/16 thick. 3/16 thick by 12 by 12. It's about $20. It's the 40 medium soft from McMaster Car. You look it up at McMaster Car. It's good for 700 degrees, which probably can go to 900, because I know about silicones they can go pretty high, but I'm only going to be pouring about 700-800. By the time I put it in here, it's going to be about 700 or 800. And we're getting close, man. We're getting close to making the castings. Now, I'm going to go, from this point, I'm going to go talk about the burner and some modifications I made to the original burner, and tell you what to do about fixing that. Okay, this past week or so, we made some experimental melts, and wanted to see if I can melt metal. So we fired it up after, you know, we did all the curing, we did all of that, we got everything prepared. We fired it up, and we had it on for quite a while. And it looked like to me that it was starving for air, because every time we would lift a little bit, it would sound a little bit better, a little more roar to it. And it took about an hour and a half to melt 3 pounds of metal, which really is way too long, and I couldn't figure out what it is. But I determined, just guessing, that I thought it was not starving for air. So the original burner came with this bell reducer, it's called, and it was 1 3/4 inch this end to 1 1/4 inch this end, and then it had this piece of 1/4 inch nipple cut, and of course this is the 1/8 pipe that goes across. I'll bring that a little closer so you can see it. And then this is of course the bell reducer, and that goes in the end of this like that, and then of course on here is the tube that goes out. And when I took it apart, there's supposed to be a number 60, 59, 58, 57. You start out with a 60 if you want to try to boost it up a little bit. I put a 57 drill in there, which is a pretty big one. And compared, I think it's 43, 44 thousandths. But here's the drill there. Now look at that. That's in the hole. Now you can see that. It's not straight. It's supposed to be, you know, right in the middle. Okay, so I said, you know what? I'll make my own. And what I wound up doing was going to the plumbing supply store, and I bought a 2-inch reducer bell. This is 2-inch, 2-inch to 3/4. That was like $10. And I bought this nipple, which I don't think you need this, but I bought it anyway. And I might cut it off. But the and I put it in the lathe and I faced this off because I might want to put a baffle there. I thought I bought a 4-inch 1/8 pipe nipple here, 4-inch long. I carefully drilled the proper hole for the orifice hole. I used the original cap from the other one and the second reducer from 1/8 to 1/4 to 1/8, and then of course I put my ball valve, an ordinary ball valve from the Home Depot, and then this fitting that I got from that company that made the Cajun cookers, whatever, and that's for that fits the hose. And I recommend that you do that. And then of course I got the ball valve to control it. And this is a piece of 8-inch long 3/4 inch pipe. This is the original, came with that. So what I'm going to tell you is, and I don't want to put down Mr. Oliver, Lionel Oliver III from the Hobby Melter, but I just thought that this was too small, and maybe that one's too big. Maybe you can get away with an 1.5 inch one, but that's not much bigger than this. So, but why not put a bigger one? Then you can always put a baffle there if you need to. I didn't seem to have to worry about that. We fired it up, and I was up to, I had originally with the pressure regulator, if I put it up past 15 pounds, it was like starving for air. It was sucking air. Put that on, the new one. We're up to 30 pounds pressure. Beautiful. Now, it took a half an hour to melt 5 pounds of metal. A half an hour. And I think subsequent melts would probably take maybe 20 minutes or less. So that worked out pretty good. We poured it in the ingot molds, and I got some of the pieces down here. We just used the I think I showed it to you in one of the other videos. That's some of the material there. And we poured a few pounds of metal. And I weighed it up so I know, by looking in the crucible, that approximately that much in the crucible is 3 pounds or whatever, you know, just by guessing. Now, it's better to melt more, pour it, let it sit in the pot, add some material to it, because you don't want to run out when you're pouring. Then the very last pour, you pour it in the ingot mold, and then you're done. Clean up your stuff and go to town. Okay, so that's what I recommend that you do. You know what? You can make your own. Don't even bother with line all over the third. You can make your own. I wouldn't do it again. I mean, I did it because of time constraints, but it was worth it for me for the $200. But the next one, if I ever build another one, I probably build a little larger one. I might put 2 of these burners, and but I would build it myself. Now, what I did here is I didn't put it in the nipple like he did, because I thought it would be too far back. So I figured it should be close to where it goes into the vent, you know, inside here. If you look, you want to be kind of close to that, to the hole there. All right, so what I did, I put this in the mill, and I drilled the proper hole, which I think is 11/32 is 400, whatever, a little bit oversized, very small, like 10 thousandths over the size of the nipple. I put it in there, and I cleaned it up carefully, and this is ductile iron. It's iron, but it's ductile iron. And if you heat it carefully and you heat it up evenly, you can braze it. It's silver soldered on there. It doesn't matter if it's completely silver soldered around, because it's air in there anyway. And I got it pretty good, so quite pleased with this. I just put this on as maybe with a backfire or something. I don't know. I'll probably cut it in half and have it for another one. I have 2 burners, but that's your Reel burner, Ron Reel. I don't know if he invented it, but it works. It works. Okay, now the one other thing to complete the setup is this little gadget. Now this is a pyrometer, and I built it. Now I saw Myford Boy over there. Now he makes some nice videos, and I watch the videos, but I wish he would say something. I like all that size. People say I talk too much. Oh well. Well, he don't talk at all, and he's probably going to say, oh well. But you know, leaves a lot for you to guess, but that's okay. What I did, went online, and this company here that makes this, who sells this, is the same company that sells the PID, the Arbor instrument, and right here I put it, and I tried to buy it from them directly. It would cost me $56 with the shipping, but I had a problem. I couldn't get through. I tried to call them on the phone, this and that. Well, they so happened to sell their same products on eBay. Of course, it cost me a little bit more. It cost me an extra $10. I said, the heck would I want to get it? I ordered it on a Friday, and a Monday I had it. They're only down in Georgia. It's not too far, but I got it. So now it's got a very long thermocouple. I'm probably pretty sure you can cut these, but it really wasn't in the way. I just coiled it up there and put some wire ties around it. This is a piece of 1/2 inch OD, 32 thousandths wall stainless pipe, tubing. I bought it at my local place over here. And of course I bend it. I happen to have the proper bender to bend it. I took a piece of stainless here on the bottom and tack welded that on. And I used Velcro to hold this on, because like this, and you see it's a little bit odd, and here's the back of it, because you have the battery here that you got to replace. So if you mount this down, it's a pain in the neck. This way you can just take the screw out, and the Velcro is that genius stuff, works fine. There you go. You got it. You plug this in, it just goes up the center of the pipe. This was set up with 2 little set screws to hold the thermocouple. By the way, this is Inconel, which is about 2,400 degrees. It'll take 2,400. Now I'm not going to go up that high. I'm not going to go that high with the metal. And this will give me, and you push the button, you push it on and off, and you can see right now it's 87 degrees. That's because that's 87 degrees in here, believe it or not, 86. And it has a hold on there. Now, it just so happens that it turned out that I can balance this thing with my fingers like that. It just happened to be like that, so which is good because you got to remember I'll be wearing gloves, so I can turn it on, just go in there with my hand like this, and put it right in the pot. Oh, okay. 1400, got to go a little more. Oh, okay. 1800, good. Now, I haven't possibly, I don't know exactly how much to pour it at. I'm gonna. The idea is you make notes of everything you do. So you okay, a tree of furrow nuts. There's 40 of them in there. It takes so much investment, takes so much water, and the burn time, the mix time, all of that, and the temperature to pour it. Put all that in there so you know what you're doing, and you have records of what you do, because down the road you're going to forget. So that's my version of the pyrometer, and I'm really excited about that. It's really easy to make. This thing's 60 bucks. It took me another $10 for the piece of pipe here, and I had the stainless plate. TIG welded it on there, and I'm good to go. Here it is. Beautiful. Now that's done. And we're about ready to pour. We're not too far away. One more thing I got to make, and I'm looking around for a big aluminum or stainless pot. Maybe something about that big. Soup pot. I can get them around here at the restaurant supply. And that's what you're going to use to put your flasks in after it's all been poured and it's still cherry red hot, or not cherry red, but red hot, or hot. And you put it down in there, and it's supposed to break out, which it doesn't always do, but you get it started and you get it out of there. And then from that point, I'm going to take it down out in the alley here, outside, and I got a pressure washer, electric one. It's a pretty good one, by the way, and pressure wash the investment off and get them all clean. And so that's the only other thing I need to do. So temporarily, I'm going to use a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll take a piece of expanded metal, cut it to fit in the bottom, and raise it up, you know, a quarter of an inch, a half an inch from the bottom with something, bolts, nuts, whatever, welded to it, and drop that down in there. In case this thing, I lose it, and it goes in the bottom, I just don't want it to burn or melt the bottom of the bucket, which it may not do, but it may. So, a little precaution there for that. And eventually I'll get the pot when I see one. But that's all I need to do, and we're just about ready to go here, man. I'm telling you, I'm excited about it. This is something I always wanted to try, but the foundries are always available to me. Necessity is the mother of invention, correct? Well, I have now, not to invent this stuff, but I put it all together with the help of David Flowers, who's been Aero Marine. He does videos, and he's a great guy. He helped me quite a bit. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know what to do here. And he, fortunately, for my luck, he was only an hour drive from here in Delaware, which is in Wilmington, Delaware, is an hour drive. Anyway, that's what's happening. The next time you see us, part 7, we're going to probably be doing the investing, or maybe doing the waxes, you know, treeing up the waxes and doing all that, and then maybe doing the investment in another part, and then of course the big debut of making the casting. So look forward to all that. I appreciate all you guys out there to make all the great comments, and the guys who don't. You want to make a bad comment? Okay, if I don't like your comment, I just pooh, off you go into the sunset. No problem. I just don't want any negative stuff going on. And I feel that my dear friend Lyle Peterson, Mr. Pete, has the same feeling. If you don't like what he's saying, he just deletes it. That's fine with me. Because we're here doing this stuff. It takes a lot of our time. And we're doing it for you guys. For people to learn about this different stuff. When I started in this casting business, I went through all of the videos. Some people don't talk. Some people play ballet music. Nobody explains anything where to get the stuff on how to do it. So I'm giving you all of that, and hopefully you enjoy my videos. And subscribe. We'll see you again on the next video, and thanks for watching.